Hi everybody, the Mature Simmer here. Alright, I think I'm going to go ahead and take this job over to El Centro. That will get me near Yuma, so maybe we'll discover it, but again, we did not discover San Simon, but Yuma's a little bit bigger. My guess is, given how this is staggered over to the side, we won't, but this will give us a good trip over there. Alright, and we are at Lanier, so this is exactly where we need to be to pick this up, so I should be able to, oops, entrance is over there. Oh, Lanier's across the street. I'm a little disoriented, clearly, so let's see, where do we probably have to go to the right. We can see the pickup point.
Turn left.
Oh, turn left. Alright, let's make sure nothing's coming. Nothing's coming either way. Might be able to make it without any kind of rest today.
Get ready to turn right.
I mean, it's 270 miles, so
turn right.
It will, be 5 or 6 hours, depending on how everything goes. So just head on over a bit.
Get ready to
be
turn
okay.
right.
And then we're going to turn right
Turn
again.
right.
Alright. And obviously it's right there.
Turn right.
So we'll get that picked up.
You have arrived at your destination.
And there we see where our point is. So it looks like I should be able to finally, for the first time in a bit, do kind of a normal, I don't know what I hit. The curb, but the curb shouldn't be that high, so I wasn't that worried about it. Disappointing. I don't know, maybe I got closer to the tree than I thought, but that makes no sense. Alright, let's see if I can at least keep myself over here. I do need to kind of get over. I might be able to swing enough. Let's see. Now if I come back, probably too much. Although, you never know. Stuff can happen. I don't think so, though. But we'll get ourselves positioned up. Alright, let me straighten out. And we'll go out here. And then that should be a little bit easier to position. Yeah, there's no post over there or anything, but it must have handled the, so let's see if I go now. I want to go this way. No, I don't want to go this way. What the heck? I, thought about it, too. So that's a little spooky that I was that far off, but alright. Alright, and now we'll... a little bit more, and then we'll get ourselves over here. But the benefit again is we can see. See, my problem with the jerking around a little bit is it's like, because I'm turning the wheel the other way, it's just like the automatic response when you're going forward, that your head is like, oh, I'm turning that way, so I want to look that way. But that's obviously messing things up a bit. The train should stop because it wasn't coming for an hour, but alright. So 297, looks like we got some storms rolling in, because it is 10:35 in the morning, but oh my goodness. is it dark? Alright, so we got that big tank back there. Or whatever that is. I looked at it when we picked it up, and now I've just ignored it. So I assume we want to turn to the left, because going to the right, we're just going to go around the block. So that would seem a little pointless. Got the Coca-Cola truck parked over there.
Turn left.
Alright. Either way, I needed to really pull out.
Get ready to
Oh, you know,
turn
it's multiple tanks is what it
Turn
is.
right.
And yeah, I think it said fertilizer tanks, so... turn right, and then going to Yuma, it should just be I-10 the whole way, so it should be a nice, simple trip. We just fueled, we just rested.
Get ready to turn right.
The train just went by, so I would assume we'll be okay there.
Turn right.
And there's I-10. And we've got a Volvo dealership over there, which we don't really need. But that is what that question mark is. In case you were wondering. You probably were not, but... Alright. And now we'll get ourselves up. Start kind of looking over here. Looks like nobody's there. Wow, he scared me. Alright. And then, ooh, Kenworth. Kenworth 100 years. I'm assuming that's relevant, so 1925. Guess for some reason I thought trucking companies would have been longer than that, but once again, you know, did we have enough to haul? You know, did we have a good enough roadway system to not just use little trucks? Because that's the thing. I mean, is Kenworth like were they always making like crazy? Oh, that's interesting, because it's this to Phoenix, but we're not going to Phoenix. We're staying down. So
Keep left.
because I would think something else goes up to Phoenix. And right now, I don't know that we can tell. Yeah, we're still in town or something, because yeah, we're just 4 point... Or wait, no, it's 28 miles on top. I think it's 4.4, 4.6. I think that's the miles per gallon. It's like we're barely creeping up, but yeah, now we haven't really moved, so it's definitely miles per gallon. So yeah, we've gone 33, which is over 10% of the way there. So we got some mountains here. But the nice thing with this space, or this area, is yeah, I mean, right now, this is all newly discovered road wherever we go. But the big thing is we'll hit our milestone of getting into California. And so we'll try to spend a bit of time in there. You know, maybe we'll just kind of go north-south a little bit, just to try to absorb a good amount of whatever they've done for the California rework. And as I said, I'm certainly not good enough to be able to say, oh yeah, this is different. Now, I think they took away a city, added a city, so I mean there may be some stuff, because I know kind of in northern California, over up by Sacramento and San Francisco and stuff, I think there was like a little bit of a log jam of towns, and so maybe they removed something there and then put something somewhere else. But I mean, I did spend a good amount of time in LA on ATS with other profiles for sure, so because California is actually the only state that I got to 100% on a profile. I actually created a profile where my intent was
Keep left.
I'm just gonna get 100% on every state and get that achievement, but it was so much work on... Oh, I didn't see...
Keep right.
San
then
Diego is
exit
where I
right.
want to go. I see, so it's 8.
Exit right.
Alright, so we'll be on 8, but still. We're still on an interstate. I had no idea there was Interstate 8 down here, but now I do. So, we got something else going alongside there. Oh, I see, that's the I-10 ramp. So if someone's getting onto I-10, probably from I-8, that's how that cycles around. Alright, up on the bridge. A little bit of grass growing in the road. So they still have a few of those problems here and there. Now, I think it was Arizona and California that kind of came out together as the start of American Truck Simulator, so it gave a couple states. Thing I don't know is was that the actual release at the beginning, or did Arizona just come very, very quickly afterwards, and so it's just always been kind of considered as this is how ATS started. Alright, we've got enough room. I'll turn off the head tracking for a bit. There's a Bob Ross billboard that we just went by. He's a painter guy, used to be on TV a lot, teach people to paint very calmly. Look at the clouds, paint the clouds. But lots of people learned with him. I mean, people loved him. I think he's passed away now, a little while ago, but his impact still lives on. Maricopa County. So this is the county that Phoenix is in. I didn't realize it goes all the way down to the border, but I guess it does. If not, there's some probably very thin county down south of us to the left, but yeah, you know, Phoenix was going to be kind of a northwest drive if I went that way, so it makes sense that even though we are heading, or should be heading west, oh, we've got more. We did hit 20, but we've got more. Oh, nice plane. It's going really fast. I thought it was going to be like a fighter jet, but it's not. So we have another email, so hopefully I can remember to go look at that. We just cleared one that was sitting up there for eternity before. At least I thought I cleared it. I wonder if somehow when I looked at it, then when I exited it didn't save that I saw it, but probably not. Probably when we got to level 20, something happened. Oh, you know what probably happened? We probably got an increase in our credit limit for the bank loans, so we might finally be up to 5 million, because I think we were right at like 4 or something. Alright, so we got road work coming up, so I'm going to cover my brake. Hey, that guy, look at that. He's being smart about it. But, yeah, I'm assuming this is going to be a mess, because that's just how this rolls. Because, yeah, now it's suddenly going to decide to let people go. You're terrible. I get you want to go, and you should go, but... So yeah, this could be a random event. It could also be something that they've permanently placed on the map. This is not a stretch that I have driven often at any point. Can't say I've never driven it. As I said, I definitely was coming from California out of Arizona and vice versa, but... Yeah, some of the challenge of just driving out west, this, that, and whatever is, it kind of looks the same. So you don't get a lot of variety, but you do have, you know, some of the hills and the mountains, and, you know, if you've ever watched U.S. Westerns, there's a lot of coverage. You know, there's 310 from Yuma, or to Yuma, I forget which way it is. And, I mean, there's just a lot of Westerns that are down in this area, Arizona, New Mexico, probably even the California desert. as you get out there. But yeah, I'm in the process of reading a book, Down the Great Unknown. I forget who the author is, but it's about John Wesley Powell's trip down the Green River that ultimately got him to the Colorado River, and then running the Grand Canyon. And it's a cool story. It's interesting how that all went down in 1869. So we're down, we just crossed into Arizona in what we're reading. So we're not obviously down here in southern Arizona yet, and I think the Grand Canyon is kind of up on the north end, if I remember correctly, a little bit, maybe central, but it's definitely not down near the border. But just as I drive through here, that kind of jumped in my head, like, oh yeah, right, I think I'm getting stuck behind these guys. Alright, fine, you come. Oh, now you get freaked out when I nearly ran you over. Because, yeah, I should be able to go a little quicker here. And I think we have less than 100 miles to go. So, yeah, it's interesting, because sometimes I just have an itch on my face as I'm playing, so that's what happened there when the camera looked to the side as I put my hand up. I did not turn my head, I assure you. So, yeah, it's interesting how the Beam eye tracker interprets things. So I will say, having had it now for several months, I don't remember exactly when I purchased it. I use it for the trucking. I use it for iRacing, which doesn't make the channel for just honestly kind of privacy concerns. You got to use your real name and so forth in iRacing. So unless I turned off all the things that I use as far as position, this, that, or whatever, and never chatted, because basically even when you hit the button to chat, it kind of puts it just square in the middle of the screen, and I'm not that good, honestly, so it's not like you're missing a whole lot. But just in case people are like, why am I not seeing any iRacing? I didn't know you were doing iRacing. I've certainly mentioned I've been doing it, but yeah, so I use it for that. I use it for flight sim periodically, and I'm trying to remember, I do have it set up for a fourth purpose, but now it's just eluding me. But I've got 4 profiles set up. Oh, now we got, that's interesting. Yeah, suddenly they're slowing down quickly. Yeah, this looks like it might be something that's more likely a little permanent part of the map, but they're doing a lot down here on I-8 today, regardless of how it's there. We'll get ourselves back over here. Alright, now we've got maybe 60 miles to go, so we could have something in between. I think at this point we've clearly passed Yuma. So, guessing we're not going to discover that. At least I think we've clearly passed Yuma. Maybe we're not, because I do think El Centro was relatively near the border. So it's possible we haven't hit the border yet, but they're near each other. Let's see. No, Yuma, Quartzside, but Yuma, if I remember, when I have definitely gone to Yuma. I'm pretty sure it's a little ways south of the interstate. So I don't think we're going to get this as a discovery, but obviously we'll have the road here nearby, which will be nice. Now if I suddenly start seeing the name, then I'll know I'm wrong, but let's see. Is anybody exiting? Wow, nobody's exiting. everybody's like, screw you. I don't know. Well, wow. I'm like, it's right over the highway, so if I don't discover it, that would be odd. But alright, so these are always the nice things, because yes, it gives you some extra locations, and then if I did want to just look around, because I think I could be in El Centro. I don't know what the limit is, but I believe I can go to neighboring towns that I've discovered. And actually, now that I think about it, well, there's California state line. They might not have a big sign until we get across the way, or they might not have a big sign at all, but I think that's the sign. No, it's not. That's just, I think, LA possible. It's some sort of sign for Los Angeles. But yeah, now that I think about it, since it's my own truck, like if I wanted to, say, go all the way back to Texas, like I could find a job over in Texas and just drive there and be empty. So, oh, we're gonna have to stop at the way station. We talked about the agricultural things last time. It does say inspection station, and it does say agricultural inspection, so yes, now wait, is it across the whole... I did not know that. Is it across the whole highway? Yeah, I guess it is. Interesting. Alright. So yes, this I think is new since I've been here. There's probably only one truck lane. Yeah. So, gotta line up here. So, it looks like it says Winter Haven. I do like their flag with the bear. I enjoy bears. Now, is there a second lane? I'm gonna peek, but I don't know that there is, or is it? No, I guess. I mean, there's nothing that shows. So yeah, then I don't have to wait. What? Okay. I don't understand, but alright. Yeah, the way station is here. So I didn't bypass anything, but... Well, that stinks. Alright, well, we lost $3,000. Lesson learned. Again, I've never been through those here. Yeah, I saw a guy standing up there, but yeah, there wasn't the icon like there was in the other lane to go ahead and do that. Oh, and now it's because it's given me the way station bypass. Oh well. Like I said, live and learn. Alright, so we are there. And then we're just about getting off, so I'll just leave the head tracking on. But yeah, it's not coming to me what else I use it for. It might have just been like, maybe it's a default profile that comes with, and then I did create things for all my other items. Because I do need the settings a little bit different. I mean, when I created it, I didn't know that would be the case, but I certainly felt like, yeah, it might be nice to know. And it was, and is. So, but having used it for a while, my point is,
right.
it is helpful.
And then exit right.
Especially iRacing it's very useful for,
Exit
to be
right.
able to have awareness of who's around you and this and that. And honestly, this is much better
Keep
than
right.
pounding
And
the
then
mouse
turn
around, because
right.
especially if I had to turn a long way, like I'd have to move the mouse, pick it up, you know, go back
Turn
over, because
right.
I didn't have enough room on the desk to kind of do it all in one motion sometimes, and like it just definitely
Go straight.
took away not that I'm like, ooh, I need super immersion, you know, which is why I'll likely never invest in a VR headset or something, and not terribly interested in that. I'd rather, you know, do it the way I'm doing it. To me, this is immersive enough. And, you know, but for you guys too, I think it's just less, you know, jerky, because that's the other thing. Then, like, once I look to the side like that, like, then sometimes it takes a while to get back to the middle, and you know, I can do it much more naturally now, like you would with your normal view. And I think I've gotten things dialed in pretty well, other than just not messing up when I'm backing up, looking out the window. But for a longest time, I couldn't get the looking out the window to work. So then I just couldn't look out the window, and I just had to use my mirrors. Because with the head tracking available, it kind of seems to have changed the settings where the mouse isn't really even an option I can use. I mean, I use the mouse to turn it off, but then I guess I've never tried. I suppose I could do that at some point when, you know, maybe when I get there and park. Is once I click the button and I am in mouse mode, does the mouse view work? Because I've just kind of gotten used to the assumption or the function that it's not available to me, and so I've kind of stopped trying.
Keep left, and then turn left.
All right, it is Metal West. I think it's this road up here.
Turn left.
That thing is really bright green, whatever it is up there. I don't know if it's something that's not drawn, or it's just really some bright green sign like BP or something.
Turn left.
Alright. So they're over by the power substation. Alright, so we gotta get around, and then we'll have to see...
You have arrived at your destination.
...how we place it. So I'm gonna try to slow down here near the building. Alright, so it looks like we've got to... Well, I can't really go in there. That's really tight. Wow. So I've got to like park it in between things, but this is not the easiest thing here. I'm worried I'm going to have another blindside disaster here. But that may be what I've got. Maybe there's enough room. The question is it... let me just stop. I think it's here. So I think I now need to... Again, I can look, but not when I'm moving. Alright. So... But yeah, there's not enough room to straighten out. So this is going to be a bit of a blindside move here. And then we'll get ourselves in, and then it might be a little bit better. So just make sure I'm far enough. I'm kind of not. Alright. Whoops, not yet. So we got like some rebar. I mean, it is a metal facility, so I mean, that makes some sense. Alright, so I don't want to go crazy with my turn. Again, let me just make sure. Okay, yeah, I think I'm alright. Maybe we keep making it a little more solid of a turn, because I think we're nice and clear, and then we can figure things out here. So let's see. Now, if I go here, yeah, this might not be too bad, honestly. Because I think I just need to go near those. Come on, stop turning the head. Problem is I can't... And again, I was turning the wheel away, and I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta look the other way, but I I don't. Alright. It's almost like I know what I'm doing on that. So let's see if I can keep my head in the right place this time. Not make you guys all a little sick. But now we'll turn this out, and that should work out nicely. I don't know what it thought I was running into there, but yeah, that's quite good, honestly, on the first attempt. So 298. I think this will also rank me up in Truckee. So in my group, I'll finally be at level 3. It's all pretty much distance related there. 209, so not quite up to 210. But we've got those fertilizer tanks delivered. And we are in California. So obviously the agricultural center that cost us $3,000 this year. But beyond that, we've got kind of what we wanted ahead of us now for however many episodes I decide to linger over here. You know, if someone's watching these kind of in real time, I am at this point just kind of keeping up for the most part. So I may get a little bit ahead at one point, but it may take a little bit. Because again, I've got that weekend I've talked about, if you followed the golf thing, that I'm not going to be around. So if a video has to drop around there, and either way, I mean, even if I just have, there's only 4 days between one or the other. So let's say the video's Monday, you know, I'm going to have to complete it before I leave anyway, or I likely won't get it out on time. So I'll keep an eye out on that. But, you know, for the most part, I'm not doing like what I did when I was going through the events or something, where I do 6 or 7 of them in one sitting. That doesn't happen that often. But if you want me to get to a certain part of California, or you're looking, I mean, even if it's just some other area, you know, let me know. Hey, you know, I'm familiar with this. I live in this area. I want to see what it looks like in the sim. I'm not opposed to trying to look for jobs to get me somewhere. But for now, I'd certainly like to stick around in California a little bit. You know, so if people have things in other states that are available, that they're like, ooh, get here, get there. You know, we'll go from there. I guess the one thing I'll add, I'll talk about it now in a little bit of detail, because it's going along that, you know, just people don't know when to not grumble and this and that, whatever. But ATS or SCS, you know, the company that makes ATS, they did put out an ATS ad a little while ago, and I think it put the end is near or the end is coming or something. And, you know, people had this ridiculous panic moment. And the crazy thing that was ridiculous about it, because it was an ad on Steam, at least where I saw it, and the image had a map, and it had a Route 66 keychain sitting next to it. Like all the clues were there already. It wasn't even like you had to take time to read it. And yes, I get the fact, like, it was brilliant marketing, because yes, it did, like, when I read it, just the words, oh, the end is near, I'm like, are they stopping? And, you know, for a split second, and I'm like, no, this is just some, and then, you know, and then my brain registered the image quickly, and I'm like, yeah, they're finishing up Route 66, so it looks like Illinois is going to be the next state announced, which will be fun on various fronts, because who doesn't like themselves a good Chicago and whatever. So I'm looking forward to that. But I'm originally from that area, so it's kind of my birthplace. So would love to see how well they do with that. But, you know, we're probably realistically not going to see that till sometime in 2026, because it hasn't even been announced. I mean, they're just doing that teaser, and sometimes it takes 3 or 4 months after the teaser before you get the announcement, because I'm assuming We're not going to hear it until another state gets delivered. So I'm guessing, if I was to guess, we're going to get Missouri. Or wait, we have Missouri. Then what are we going to get? Iowa? I would think we'd get Iowa before we get Louisiana, but I don't know. And I don't disagree that I am a little bit like, hey, we've kind of skipped the Dakotas. Now we're kind of past Minnesota, too, if we're going there. What gives? But hopefully they'll then go and fill that in. But I could see them wanting to finish all of Route 66 and stuff like that. It would be interesting, rather than doing exploring state, if in the world of trucks they did an event that was just drive Route 66 in some way. I don't know how they would do it with pickups, because unless they injected specific loads that like took you the whole way in one run, it would probably be kind of challenging to get yourself back onto that roadway and so forth. But I don't know. We'll see what they do with it. But yes, Illinois is coming. But it was just more that, it's just like the people grumble about, they announce a state. I wanted this state instead, and why don't you give us ATS2 instead? So I'm sure maybe those people were excited, like, oh, maybe they're doing it. No, they don't need to. So those people who want them to, like, just, you need to go, I guess, find some other sim to go grumble about, or go maybe make you happy. But the rest of the world that uses this is more than happy to just flesh out the US over the next decade or more type of thing. So we're happy to keep going, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what then happens. I mean, logically at that point, yes, they haven't done Wisconsin or announced that, or really have hinted to that, but short of popping Wisconsin up there and then surrounding the Dakotas and Minnesota, just to not leave this gaping hole in the map, it would seem that they'd need to pay some attention to that and get those three out relatively quickly. What I'd like to see them do is, after they announce Illinois, announce either, again, the Dakotas together would be great. I would love to see a multi-state pack and start getting into that a little bit. Because once again, like, even when you get down to like Tennessee and Kentucky, I could see those being like, they're wide but they're thin. So together they're kind of like one western state in area, I believe, for the most part. And I would love to start seeing a few multi-state packs, and especially as we get up into New England and you've got Rhode Island, Connecticut, Delaware, New Jersey, all those tiny little states. Like, again, I'll do what they do, but I don't think in their that they could feel comfortable charging, $12.99 for Rhode Island just by itself. I'm assuming they're going to lump some of those together, and maybe that'll be the only time we ever get a multi-state thing. But it's not like there isn't precedent, like in ETS2, where they do, the Balkans or something, where they do a bunch of countries together. So doing a bunch of states together would just be the U.S. version of that. But doing the Dakotas together, then doing Minnesota, and then again, whether you drop down, to near Louisiana and start, with the states moving over, and then kind of do the south to north thing, so that maybe we don't do Wisconsin after Minnesota. But I think it would make sense to get Minnesota in there. But you almost have to do Wisconsin at that point, because there may literally be no connection points between Minnesota and Illinois. And so then you just still kind of have a wall. So if you're trying to, flesh that out, and then they could go, south, which would be, but that's the thing, like, south of Illinois is Kentucky. You have Indiana next to you, so it does get a little interesting now, because we no longer have these nice little rectangular-ish blocks. We've pretty much left that behind now, and you're going to have, the original states, or the early states after American independence, where things really went along river boundaries and so forth, and less around just geographical lines like, Colorado and Wyoming and all those states did. But yeah, just wanted to let you know there is a teaser. I'd say it's 100% certain it will be Illinois. We just don't know when they're going to officially announce it, but I don't know that I've talked about it here yet. But I may have last time and just kind of mentioned it, but I wanted to delve in a little deeper into the really, we got to grumble about things. So, and my take on it was, given that SCS is a company in Czechoslovakia, like, the marketing person needs to, like, get a raise or something, because that was a brilliant bit of marketing. I mean, yes, it caused a little bit of panic, but obviously recognizing how important the road is, and or has been to the history of driving in the U.S. and all that, and just making a play on that to introduce a potential state, I think is cool. So it'd be one thing, if a U.S. company did that, but a foreign company doing that, they're thinking outside the box for themselves, and that should be pretty cool. Because to my knowledge, like, there isn't anything. I mean, unless you go to like the old trade routes of Marco Polo and the Silk Road or something, there's nothing like that in Europe or other parts of the world. I mean, it's the U.S. that has that, Chicago to L.A. connection that was just iconic and so forth, and now has been replaced mainly by a bunch of interstates, but there are a few things here and there around. So anyway, with that long segment, I definitely will try to remember to note this in the chapter things if people don't want to listen to the whole thing or have had enough at some point and want to jump. So hopefully you haven't been forced to listen to this, but have done it because you wanted to. But at this point, we're going to transition to the end, and enjoying our trip across the U.S. as we've kind of come back here. I'm trying to remember. I think I started in Salt Lake City on this series, so we've now finally gone west a little bit, and we'll see where the road takes us. But again, we're going to spend some time in California. As always, if you've enjoyed this but haven't dropped a like or are not a subscriber, please consider that. Really helpful for a smaller channel like myself, and I will see you next time.